Hello, hello, hello. Are people seeing me live? Is it moving? Let's wait for broadcast and seeing it on LinkedIn. Okay. 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 Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me for another session of Sudha Live. Here we are on Friday evening, my evening here in California, in Silicon Valley. It's 6 o'clock, and I'm very happy to see you all. It's an awesome way. I meet my students at Weekly Wednesday on Wednesday mornings, and I look forward to that. And let me also record this on here on Zoom. Here because there are some of my students who would also join here live. So that's possible that they could be here on Zoom and have a conversation with me. So I meet my students on Wednesday, Weekly Wednesday, and I love it. And this is another opportunity for me to meet you all. So one of the things that happens is as I'm going through the week, I'm actually thinking, what am I going to tell them? What am I going to tell my live stream audience on Friday evening? And that makes me super smart and focused on what kind of things I'm working on. So I realize it's another busy week. We're all like zoomed out, so much on Zoom. And so I thought I was trying to get out and walk outside. But looks like I still was on Zoom and I still was online and doing a lot of things. And we also have a bunch of online classes going on. We had our live lab with Sam Wigglesworth that was almost finishing this week. It was her fourth session. She did the live lab to NLP to teach people how to build a NLP chatbot for customer service. And I'm new to NLP. I've taken an NLP class with Sam. I'm not done NLP commercially. So my thinking was NLP must be about chatbots because I see chatbots when I'm interacting with them, trying to interact with me in a sales mode or marketing mode on websites or customer service. I've done a bunch of customer service virtual assistants who'd cancel tickets for me. So I just thought they'll chat with me, send me information here or there, send me someplace, or they will connect to some backend to some system to complete some transaction for me, like the cancellation of airline ticket I did once. And so that was my thinking. But it was very fascinating because Sam used a no-code AI platform and through the whole thing. And she ended up this week talking about analytics, my favorite topic. So she showed a lot of data. And what came out of that for me was, she showed the confusion matrix, the AI confusion matrix of false positive, false negatives, and what is the precision and recall. So it basically shows you build the AI and how good it is. Is it going to have a lot of false positive? Is it going to have a lot of false negative? And in a chatbot, it means I'm expecting it to say something as a customer, and it is giving me a response. And is that right or is that wrong? And how many times is it saying yes? And how many times is it correct when it is giving the response that is expected of me as a customer? And so the data is amazing. And data is actually mapping what all the times it actually responded one way, it should have been some other way. And there's like a whole industry. I think there's potential to innovate. That's what I tell my students. You are not here to just take another tool, another technology, do something and just go do another boring job. You're here to innovate and make something happen. That's why the world of AI is so exciting, because it's endless, limitless, and there's a lot of faults in it, and ethical dilemmas and bias, and there's so much stuff, so many directions you could go. So with NLP, my takeaway is there is an opportunity for you as a business person who understands your customer to actually look at the AI confusion matrix while building a virtual assistant or a chatbot and figure out how do we actually improve the performance. And one example could be that you've built a chatbot that works for US. I'm here in US, I'm giving that example. And then now you want to deploy the same chatbot in Germany, or you want to deploy that in Nigeria. Even if it's same English, there's going to be different localization issues, which you would look at if you're building it as a product on a mobile or on a website. The same localization issues are going to happen in how a Nigerian would respond and talk and be polite and ask for information and expect to get service, or a US person is going to be polite and expect service in a certain way. So the way that the chatbot needs to communicate is going to be different. And that knowledge is with you as a business person. And I see this as a business opportunity to actually go and build a layer of technology there. So that was my excitement about chatbots and NLP. Thank you, Sam Wigglesworth, for this wonderful lesson that you've done. And then the other thing I've been talking about is the live lab machine learning with Julian Carbonell. And that took off. And we used a Google Colab. Again, we promised no code, which means he gave us Python, but we didn't have to code at all. We didn't have to touch it. We didn't even have to go edit it. And then he showed us how to take mobility data and go build out a machine learning model. He built a regression model. He never used the word regression, but he showed us what is possible, what, how you clean the data, visualize the data, and how you go build a model. And my call to all the students is, don't just think about here's data, what can it just do for us? Whose problem are we solving? In this case, I had set it up as equitable transportation. So we looked at use cases to take trip data, which is shared by delivery bots and mobility vehicles. So that was my little sneak peek into my favorite autonomous vehicle world that happened this week. But outside of Business School of AI, where these two classes happened, there was an exciting world. And I'm here to tell you about AI opportunities in the form of events, papers, all kinds of jobs, and everything else. So let me jump into something that I wanted to show you. So when I was sharing about this, that we're going to be talking on Sudha Live today, one of the things I showed you was an image. So let me share my screen. And let me see here. I've collected them. So my quiz was, who is this? This is a person you know. Who is this person? It's not me. Doesn't look like my hair or my hands. Who is that person? Okay. So if you're watching us on chat anywhere, you could answer that. So think about it. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to come and check the chat. And meanwhile, I'm going to show you another picture. What is this picture? What is this? What is in this picture? What is this picture about? Where was this taken? Or tell me, can you guess? I took this today, just an hour before I started this, not even, an hour back. So what is this? Can you guess? Okay. So I'm going to go and check the chat. So the person you saw, who is that person, was the first question. And I'm checking on LinkedIn to see whether you have an answer for me. Because now, so who is this person? And the other thing is the picture I showed you. Where was the second picture? Second picture. Okay. Today. This is, so tell me guys, you should be able to guess that. Yeah. And I know you're there also on YouTube, also on various other places. So I apologize. I am not able to check every one of them today. I will come back. So I just checked on LinkedIn. I've not seen any answers. And if you're watching this, I see people watching. So you're there. I know it. So you can reply and add a comment. So let me go to the YouTube and see whether, so you're here. Okay. So who is this person? And tell me a guess. Yeah. And I'm not going to Twitter just yet because that would distract me and I would not come back to talk to you guys. So I'm just going to come back to you to show you this other image that I was showing. Okay, so let me go back to sharing my screen. Yeah, so this is the second image. So I'm going to tell you who that person is in a minute, but I've shown you another image. Where was this picture taken? What does this look like? This looks like some mirrors, right? There are 3 of them. And this one is a reflection of some trees, a parking lot. What is it? Okay, I'll give you a clue. This was me just little before I took the picture. Now, does that mean anything? So this was a picture at the Apple store. So today they had the iPhone 13 launch. I went to look at it. I didn't buy it. I am kind of in a dilemma on what exactly I want to buy. And so I'm going to go back tomorrow. So I went in, looked at it. And inside they have these. If you look closer, these are iPhones. See, on each of this, they have mounted two iPhones. I have no idea. Is this a piece of art? Are these phones watching outside? Are they doing something? Because this is not the front screen. This is the camera of the iPhone. So there is the iPhone 13 has 2 cameras, and the iPhone 13 Pro has 3 cameras. It's supposed to be very good for people who do a lot of videos and fancy videos, like gamers and stuff like that. So I got tempted. I said, I do a lot of videos. Of course, I need a lot of storage, but because of that, I couldn't decide between the 2. So I don't know what they're doing. Are they watching the road all around? This is the Apple Visitor Center in Cupertino. So are they watching outside? Are they streaming this? Are they collecting this video or doing something? I don't know. Or is it just like a piece of art with 2 iPhones mounted? So I don't know. If somebody has any ideas, you can tell me. If you know what this is already, maybe you're smarter than me. I'm all ears. So, and this is me outside the Apple store, indecisive on what to buy. Yes, there is a line. I went to check because today is a launch day. I wanted to see whether there was a line. And obviously they're doing crowd control. And so that was the line. Okay, now other interesting thing I saw in there, I just want to put it out here because this was intriguing for me. So in there, they're selling the AirPods and they had this setup. So if there's any person who's there amongst us who's watching, who knows what musical note it's representing, or is this some particular song? Maybe you can find it for us. So now that brings us back to this person. So this is our own Yash Ashwini, the host of Weekly Ved, data scientist from Bangalore. And this Weekly Wednesday, we were talking about emotions AI. And do you remember the Coded Bias movie that is actually on Netflix currently? And we had actually seen that as a preview in our class. Hi, Mike. Thank you for joining me. So I was just showing some interesting pictures. I don't know if you joined earlier, Mike. So we were actually looking at some interesting pictures. So I'm going to show that since you came here in person to join. So this is a picture from the Apple store. So I was trying to find out, is there a science behind it? Is there art behind it? What is it doing? It's 3 different mirrors. And don't know. So I would like to find out from people if they have ideas. And then I just switched in and I gave the answer that this is Yash, who is the host of Weekly Ved, which is our gathering speaker series on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. PT or 18 hours in Nigeria or Europe. And she was excited about getting us ready to talk about inclusive AI. So the topic we covered was about emotions AI. And think about this. I was showing you these pictures, right? Let me go back. I was sharing that for a reason. So I was showing this picture and it's intriguing, right? When we were looking at this, I asked this picture and you were saying, who is this person? Somebody I know. And you were kind of going through the thought process. Then I said, this is me and the Apple store. So obviously you might have some attachment to Apple store, or you might be an Android person not liking Apple's products. and me in here, right? And then I showed this music thing. So as you are watching this, your brain is going through some thoughts, some feelings, some memories, and you have some emotions that is happening inside your body. Now, what if I told you that as you're watching this, I'm able to find out how do you feel? What is your emotion when you're looking at each of these? Do you like absolutely dislike Apple or absolutely love Apple? Or if this is a particular song, and I'm not savvy enough to tell you what this song is. Suppose you're able to recall what the song is, and it brings you a flashback of some memory, and it means something to you, and there is some emotions running in you. What if I could tell you that I'm able to track that? First of all, would that be okay with you? And then here I'm asking you a quiz, and here is Yash. The moment when I told you it's Yash, the moment when I just asked you who it is and you were thinking. So what was running in your head? What was inside your feelings in terms of emotions? If I'm able to track that, will that be okay with you? I absolutely cannot. Okay. But what if I can? The technology to do that is in some stage of being called emotions AI. And there are companies who are actually starting out saying, hey, we want to look at face of people. So remember, we've covered facial recognition for a long time. And in our previous career pivot to AI ethics class, we went through this exercise of defining face as a construct in all different angles so that we can identify faces of people without any bias. And now what if we can add the next layer? So now we have facial recognition systems in the airport, in so many places that can identify us. And I gave this example of Canon, the company, the camera company in Beijing says, when you come into the building, you have to show your face, we'll let you in. That's facial recognition. But then you have to smile, and only then we'll let you in. You have to smile to open the door. You have to smile to use a shared resource like a printer or scanner. And that means they have the AI that is attempting to recognize whether you're smiling. You could be giving a forced smile and being very miserable inside for whatever reason of that they're asking you to do this, or you're just in a bad mood, or whatever else is happening in your life. So that is emotions AI. And there are companies who have started out saying, hey, we will go help people who are autistic. We will help people for a good cause. And that's how they usually get started. That's how the field got started. But nowadays, there are a lot of companies who use this for marketing, and they say, while you're watching this, I know exactly what you're thinking. I know what you got excited about, whether you're going to buy that item, whether you have a longing for that Apple phone when I showed you that screen. Sounds horrendous, doesn't it? So that's what we did. We spoke about emotions AI, and there are data sets for emotion AI, and there's a bunch of data sets, not just for emotions AI, but for understanding intensity of emotion. To say you're not just in pain, but are you in a high degree of pain that autonomous AI or autonomous vehicle or a robot needs to go get help, and define that in a very empirical way. So there are data sets for that. The only caveat, so there's two problems with that. One is it is not really completely built on cognitive science as a very solid foundation by which you can truly understand somebody's emotion, and it crosses an ethical line. So when I did the emotions AI session as a webinar on Wednesday, everybody in the chat, I would ask them, is this okay? Is this okay? Like I was asking you, is it okay if I was able to check your emotion, whether you wanted to buy the Apple phone or not? Is it okay if I looked at your emotion when you were listening, looking, trying to understand the music note? That is absolutely not okay if somebody is going to do that to me. But there's a lot of companies that are getting funded, a lot of companies who are in research mode. And because AI is a black box, they say, yes, we have AI that can understand emotions. So there are companies being deployed in hiring to actually look at videos of the person interviewing to see whether they're a cultural fit. Stop and think about it for a minute. So we have a class coming up called AI Ethics, Responsible and Inclusive AI, taught by AI ethicist Susanna Raj. We have decided to do a pre-class on Monday at noon PT in California time. And the actual class is on Tuesday at 9 o'clock, which is 18-hour Europe and Nigeria. But originally we were going to do that on Monday. The class was just going to be on Monday. And then I got into this discussion with Susanna right after we did this emotion AI exercise. And I realized that it is not just that I want to get you excited about a technology and think about what is possible and go innovate. I want you to think about how there are fields of psychologists, cognitive scientists, and people who have been in this world of understanding behavioral scientists and people who understand other aspects of us. And there's research on that. And this tech is built, but it's not based on that. So when I was talking about there is emotions data and emotions intensity data, it's very easy to say, yes, we could go build this and a self-driving car could go drop you off if you have a heart attack and you're in pain. That sounds like a great use case. But to build that tech, it needs to be based on solid science. And those data sets that are being used today are not based on full science. And the second thing is it crosses a privacy boundary. So the head of human rights for UN has actually called for a ban of AI technologies that are privacy invading, and they've called out emotions AI specifically. Because of that, I have spent time to go look at emotions AI, understand what is out there. I'm not an expert in that. I know AI. I know how this can be built, how it can become biased, how it can be fixed, but not from a cognitive science perspective. From a data perspective, if you give me it's biased and non-biased, I can have a conversation or I can help you mitigate bias. I can do things like that. So what we are going to do is the good thing is Susanna Raj is an expert in this space. And many of you who have attended her AI ethics webinar would know she came into this whole tech world, called in as a psychologist to look at emotions data that was collected and set up by Intel many years back, almost a decade time back. And they were trying to make sense of the data so they could create use cases and application respectfully for people, right? And that is how she got into it. And she's kind of researched and been an AI ethicist and called out on things and changing the world in her own way in that field, right? So she's going to be teaching us. So call to all of you who are intrigued by emotions AI or people who are thinking about, is this acceptable? Privacy invading tech exists, and what is my role? What can I do? You can do something, whether you're a data scientist, whether you're just collecting data, you're a data labeler, whether you're a business person, you are in HR and you're hiring algorithms, or you're in legal and you're thinking about the legal implications. Doesn't matter. There's a role for you. And what we are going to do is we're going to have a pre-class that you can audit for free on Monday at noon my time in California. So it'll be 9 o'clock in Europe time. And what we are going to do is we are going to help do a setup. So what Susan has come up with, Susan has published research, and also she's come up with some data sets that actually tell you legitimately how to go about this and how to actually look at training this. And she's not calling you to go build emotions AI. She wants you to go understand and the concept of if three tech companies are saying you're happy, you're jealous, you're greedy, whatever, there's no common construct. And so she's going to help us figure out the labeling exercise for that. So she's going to show us the data set for that. And then each of us are going to go off and do different things, but we have one lab exercise that we will do for the class. So you'll get a sneak peek of what that looks like at 12 o'clock if you come join us for a pre-class on Monday. And then if this interests you, you can actually sign up and then be part of the class. And she's going to run it for a couple sessions starting Tuesday on the 28th. And then you can go learn to actually build unbiased data and look at data sets and go annotate this, or labeling data is about 70% of all AI projects, and it's expensive. And so doing that right, doing that with quality check and things like that, we can do that. So in fact, when we did the Julian Carbonell's live lab ML class, machine learning class, we had a machine learning ethicist who joined us, and that's a title. And she works in a big company. I'm not going to name a specific company because I don't have any affiliation and I'm not here to endorse anybody. So, and she raised this question on, okay, you're looking at mobility data, you're telling me how to build machine learning model to go create equitable transportation. Is this data biased? What is the bias in this data? How do I mitigate bias in that data? And I want each of you to think like that. And whatever the use case, whatever you're working on, bring that and let's go build this in an ethical way, so that it won't cross the line and make us feel uncomfortable. If you build it for one use case, it's possible that the company can get sold and it could be used for some other use case. So think about that agency you're taking away from somebody, or the line you're crossing. And so that's the inclusive AI piece. And the pre-class is on Monday. And to get you started, one of the things we've done, and thanks to Yash, we have actually set up the emotions AI weekly vet that we did, the entire recording. Yash has painstakingly broken it down into multiple sessions, so it's multiple lessons. And that is set up as a emotions AI webinar for you. So let me add that link here for you. And those of you who are already in a mailing list with me, I will send that to you. So this is, again, I'm not going to charge for this or anything. It's like free class, free webinar. Learn it, what is inclusive and, one inclusive AI, and the coded bias video I was telling you about, that Yash was showing the mask, that video is also here. And so it tells you what is emotions AI, what data is used, and the applications of it. And then it's not just a standalone thing, it's multimodal these days, right? So you could collect your sensor information. Is your pulse going up? Does that mean you're in fear? Are you happy? Combined with your facial expression. There's a lot of tech that is looking at your voice to see whether you're happy or sad. And I've been thinking a lot about that. So, and I just started thinking about emotions AI because, I have spoken about it on and off, and I thought we would use that for a lesson exercise, but I want us to do this responsibility. And thanks to Susanna, we're going to do the right thing. So different data sets, and we'll show you the real data set that is acceptable by a cognitive scientist, our own Susanna Raj. And then, so that is all here in this emotions AI webinar. So I would encourage you to sign up for it and go learn that. Okay. And then the other thing we are going to do is, I had a lot of people who are taking AI, various AI courses with me. There's a set of people who have taken AI ethics course, and there's people who have learned no-code AI data science from me in the previous batch, who are coming back for another class. And so people are saying, what is our, they're thinking about what should they learn next, where are they going? And there are multiple pathways that you can go for learning AI. So previously I have shared a learning pathway to AI, and now I'm going to offer you something new. But before I forget, with the emotion AI, one other thing is the summer. So you could watch the emotions AI webinar and learn from that exercise. It's about a little over an hour. I think it's about 80 minutes or 90 minutes total. But other than that, Henry Mulak writes a summary of each of our weekly Wednesday. So if you go to medium.com/business school of AI, you should be able to see Henry's summary, and very succinct summary of what this course, what's the finding of that particular technology, application, challenges, where it's going. And it's not written as tech, it's written as with the human touch. And so you'll be able to get that blog each week from Weekly Wednesday. And if you're new to us, watching this, and you say, she keeps talking about Weekly Wednesday, what is it? It's our happy place where we meet as a team, as a community, across past students and present students come together to listen to some interesting speakers. And once a month I do a webinar, or somebody else will do a webinar. And other days it's more a speaker bringing best practice in industry and having a conversation. So if you go to Business School of AI, You can see weekly ved on the top, and you can just click and sign up for free, and then you can get our past archives and stuff. So there's tons of material. And I believe it is not just in lessons and learning content, but in the communication, in the discussion that we have with people, because real AI is built across multiple disciplines coming together. And so we bring people from product management or business technologists or business growth managers or analysts and data scientists, and people come together. Designers, I have a bunch of students who are UX designers who are using AI and figuring out. There's a lot of people interested in mobility and autonomous vehicles, and some people are interested in specific industry. So we come together, and when you hear something and another person hears something, you're going to connect the dots from your background, and that's what people do. And we bring questions and discussion, so it's fun. The AI, the emotion AI discussion is not just about the tech of the topic, but you will see, multiple viewpoint and what can be done. So there was one question. We had a data scientist who was saying, can we do adversarial attacks, and is that a way of mitigating the bias that will come from emotions AI? And so you have to find the answer for that. So that Q&A is also in there. So the learning pathway to AI, for those of you who are watching on my YouTube, it is already there. And I believe it is showing up right at the start. Okay, let me go find out. 1 second. So right now, if you go to YouTube, you can find my learning pathway to AI. It's like a 3-minute summary, and you can figure out, and I have shared that before, and if somebody is interested, I'm happy to share that again with you also, right? And that is a quick video I've done about what could be your learning pathway to AI, where can you get started. So at a fundamental level, I believe you have to learn what's AI, what are the possibilities that AI is built and trained with data. And once it is trained, it's created as an inference model, and then you continue to deploy it to customers, and then you continue to learn. It collects data. Data is the only language it understands. And then there are so many possible applications in every possible industry, in every possible walk of life. So getting that foundation is important, whatever you want to do. Then you could go and say, I want to become a data scientist. I want to become a machine learning engineer. I want to go do product management. I want to be a designer designing AI. I'm a business person building applied AI. So you could go in various directions. And there's another field called ML ops, which is when they're building multiple AI models, there's a software engineering discipline that you need to manage the efficiency of these models. And then now there are data ethicists in every possible area. So you could go any of this. And so my recommendation is think of a problem you want to get the foundation, and then get excited about a technology. And then it could be machine learning, NL, natural language processing, or computer vision. Become a pro and go deeper into that. Or you could actually say, I'm interested in this industry and I want to solve a problem for this industry. I bring acumen from this particular industry. So you could take that industry and go see what AI is doing there, what could be done better. Or you're just passionate about a problem you want to solve, and you want to increase equitable transportation. It has nothing to do with your field of work. You could bring that too. And so the thing is, there's some commonality in what AI is doing everywhere. So you could do that, right? So that's a quick version of what I have in the video as learning pathway to AI. And why am I saying that? Of course, you're interested in AI, you're talking to me, but there is also a new learning pathway to AI ethics that I'm putting together as a course. It will be about, like this AI, emotions AI webinar, it will be about 1 hour to 90 minutes and many small lessons, so you're not stuck for an hour watching that. And for anybody who's signing up for Susanna's class and wants to learn AI ethics, come for the pre-class on Monday. And if you sign up and you're going to come for the actual class on Tuesday, I'm going to give you this learning pathway to AI ethics for free. So that way, you don't need to feel like I'm totally new to ethics. Is this thing for me? You can actually learn from the class, get the foundation pieces, figure out your path, or talk to us. We are here to help. We have a lot of office hours and follow-ups. All our instructors do that. And then you can come and do the inclusive AI class, and then voila, you are on a path to AI ethics. Okay, so we spoke about Emotions AI, so that is available for you. And where do you sign up for all this? You go to businessschoolofai.com and you click on AI ethics course and it will lead you there. Okay, and I'm going to add a link to the pre-class in there. And otherwise, I have another option. If somebody just wants to sign up for the pre-class, they want nothing to do with me otherwise. That's okay, guys. I'm not offended by that, because as I said, I believe in sharing information, and in that sharing, it makes us all smarter. So here, let me share that. So this is called lu.ma Luma/live lab pre-class. So this is a series of pre-classes we do ahead of all our classes. So we've done one for pre-class NLP, pre-class for machine learning. This one is the Susanna's one is on Monday, which is the inclusive AI ethics one. For Emotions AI setup for AI ethics, right? And then the following week, I'll be doing one for no code AI data science, because that's my next course coming. So we'll do a pre-class for that. So if you just want to audit our classes, you can just sign up here, and no questions asked. I would appreciate if you give me feedback. But if you think you're ready, is this the right thing for you, then you can sign up for the class. If you're not, no pressure. And then you can come back for the next pre-class also. So that's the pre-class. Enough about pre-class, right? And if you go to Business School of AI, that is the other URL. And I'm going to show you. Okay. So thank you, Alan Bui, for your amazing, beautiful design. Thank you. And Viola me back for the actual UX design of this site. So these are all the different courses. And what we are talking about is Career Pivot to AI Ethics. If you click here, you will get to the details. You'll even get access to a free webinar, and then you can go and learn that, right? Responsible and ethical AI. So that is the place to sign up and go find information, yeah, for the AI ethics. So with that, I want to take 10 minutes and tell you about other opportunities outside of my realm, or what is not coming from me, but something I've observed and collected as different things that's happening through the week that I absolutely cannot sleep if I don't tell you about it. So last week, I told you about one thing, an interesting event, AI in urban mobility. And I ended up staying up for it. I was actually saying, I can stay up. This is not, conducive time for me. So I was actually saying, maybe, you would attend it, because it is 1 a.m. my time. But it was so intriguing, so interesting. So I ended up staying up. So what I ended up doing was, I ended up live streaming my experience, or my observation of what I saw from there. So that was there. 1 minute, let me find that. 1 second. Let me see. I usually have these windows set up, but since I did it's not even live stream, it's more my notes that I added that came. Okay, I will get to it. I will share that. So let me tell you about other opportunities quickly. So there is this thing, Women in AI Ireland. They have a fully funded place to get certification foundations of AI, and it is sponsored by KPMG Ireland. I have no affiliation to either of them, but I thought that was an interesting opportunity. And, this is something that you should check out. Okay, so that is coming up soon. And there is a conference from Stanford that is coming up that is called AI 100. So AI 100 is a conference that, it's not just a conference, it's a report that Stanford, a team of researchers led by Stanford, Dr. Fifi Lee, I'm a big fan of her. They get together and they do research with the best of minds in the AI world, and they come up with the state of AI. So those of you who have taken any of my courses or read my book on AIX would have seen the reference to that. I sometimes bring that to my class also. So there is a conference that they're doing. So every time they come up with this AI 100 report, they actually do a conference to analyze and share that too. So here is, let me share that report. Because I want you to get to the report. I want you to get to the resources, even if you're not going to attend any of these events and stuff. So this is called AI 100 report. So if you check that, it's 100-year study on artificial intelligence. And they do this every year. They have, I think 2016 is the one that I reference. So each time, and this is the committee from various different universities globally who have come together. Yeah, I see Europe, mostly in US. I don't see anybody from the global south in here. Okay, so this is the report. So you can get access to the report directly, and you can actually, contribute to that if you want to, communicate with them, partner with them. And there's tons of references of what they are going and including in here. Okay, so they have a conference in Stanford called AI 100. So you should be able to just get to AI 100 and go there, right? The other thing is there is a conference called VRobot that happens every year. I was lucky to find that about it this time. I did not know about it at all. And here is the site for that. It's called VRobot. And it's happening already. And it happens once a year, and different universities sponsor. It's like different universities take on to run and host it. And this time it is at University of Miami. And I actually found it from the Twitter feed of somebody from Microsoft who's sponsoring that. So I'm thankful it came to my radar. So what they do is, this is not just another conference. They're talking about robot and law and how it impacts is one big theme. But what they've done is, so this is the professor and people involved. If you want to see, this is Michael Frumkin, and these are the distinguished professors involved from University of Miami School of Law who are hosting this. But it is not limited to law, the conversations and papers. The way they do that is they actually give you a zip file of a bunch of papers relative to their sessions on Friday. I'm going to attend tomorrow, and I have downloaded these papers. They basically expect us to read these papers ahead of time. And I found one about autonomous vehicles, autonomous fleets. I found one on AI ethics. So it's quite a range. When you're thinking robot, it's just quite a range. And this is the full program. So I'm planning to attend the program on Saturday. And some of it might be too early for me in the morning. So let's see. But I'm going to try my best to attend. And so I'll come and share what I find from their debunking to robot rights and metaphysically, ethically, and legally. Can you imagine that? I mean, and this is the autonomous vehicle fleets as a public infrastructure is an interesting one that I'm hoping to attend. And then this is this whole anti-discrimination law, cybernetic black hole. I have no idea what that means. Maybe I'll become smarter once I hear what that is, right? And then there are all these things about how when we spoke about emotions AI, right? That all this AI is here to serve people with some kind of ailment, and healthcare is pulled into a lot of this. So this is about the risks of personalizing robots for dementia care. I'm very intrigued to learn that. And then this is the role of AI and big data in healthcare. That's again from a patient perspective. So there's a lot of interesting topics in here. But even if you're not able to attend, it doesn't make time zone sense or whatever. I just think it's a treat to be able to even download these, curated, collected set of papers, because all that the authors are there and they're going to have discussions on that. They have some panels on that. So they expect us to do this as homework. It's about 5 papers. So I would highly recommend that you download that. And I'm showing you the URL for this. It's a long URL. or if you, obviously you can Google VRobot 2021, but this is the full URL for that. So I'll be sure to put this in the chat for you. Okay, so again, I'm going only to LinkedIn and adding this. This is the VRobot conference tomorrow, University of Miami. Download that and download the papers. Okay, so it's so we spoke about AI 100 from Stanford. I'm going to put that link also here in the chat so that you can get to that. So AI 100 conference from Stanford University is here. Get the report. Okay, so I've added that at least for those of you who are here on LinkedIn. So thank you for that. If you have any questions or comments, you can add that. So AI 100, they have a conference about that. Then you can just get the report. The same thing with the VRobot. And I also want to congratulate somebody who is one of us from our student pool. There's always somebody, you know, who's changing jobs, who's doing some interesting things. So let me show you who I am talking about here. And this is Biplab Das Chowdhury, who is from down under. So hopefully, you know, it makes sense. Time Sense in Australia is able to join us and watch this. I don't know. Thank you, Biplab, for being selected as one of the 20 global regional ambassadors for the Build with AI Hack 2020, representing Australia. And here are the details. And be sure to connect with Biplab Das Chowdhury and say hello and congratulate them on this Build with AI Hack 2021. And of course, if you want to be part of Build with Hack AI 2021 and learn more, it's coming up from October 29 to 5 November. I'm a very big fan of dev camps and hackathons. So, you know, there is there is a space where you can just go and join global teams and go build something within few days. So this looks like a week's time. So I would recommend you at least to congratulate Biplab and, you know, check this out. Okay, so there's the AI 100 I told you about. There is the VRobot resource that I told you about, and then this hack one. And then there has been some activity in the autonomous vehicle world with Walmart and Ford doing grocery delivery in DC. Kevin Schlossler, who has been one of our speakers in the past, shared that. So Kevin now works for Ford and in product operations. So, you know, it's exciting. I'm not surprised that he's helping Ford. Here is Kevin, so you can follow him. Ford plus Walmart. Delivery. So it's basically, we've been talking about business models in our past classes when we talked about autonomous vehicles and business models. And here Walmart is actually partnering with Ford. So it's Ford's autonomous vehicles and delivery from Walmart. Am I got anything else for you? Am I missing anything else? There is a legal framework for AI from Louise Riondel, who's the co-secretary to the Ad Hoc Committee on Artificial Intelligence called CAHAI at the Council of Europe. So congratulations. So let me give you Louis's name also, so you can follow Louis right there. Let me find that on LinkedIn. Yes, Louis. Yes. Congratulations. Okay. And so if you're interested in the legal aspect of AI, so Louis is a great person to follow on LinkedIn, I would say. And then there is one more update I have. Let me check whether I have that accessible ready for you. 1 second. Yeah. So the Women in AI Ireland that I already told you about, I just wanted to make sure that you caught that because it's here. So you can actually see Women in AI Ireland. It's a group. Maybe you can go follow them directly there. Yeah. Okay. So lot of interesting things happening. There seems to be some mobility stuff. There's a bunch of AI reports. There's robot conferences. There seem to be, a lot of activity. But coming back to robots and AI, I think ethics of AI is what I think is the foundation bed that's going to decide whether this is going to just be a fad or another wave, or is it going to stay on? And you need to get involved and understand what it means as what is AI ethics and inclusive AI from your job role. I don't want you to understand AI ethics and go pick a fight and complain about what is wrong. I want you to learn about it from your role. What can you do? Because you have the power to do it from several different job roles. And so with that, I'm going to wrap up, and here is the Emotions AI webinar link also for you right here on LinkedIn, Emotions AI webinar. And I hope I'll see some of you at the pre-lab, pre-class for Emotions AI or with Susanna Raj. Or maybe some of you would be brave enough to come and say, okay, now I'm ready. Let me go and learn this thing and move forward. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Let me show you the Emotions AI again. And if you actually go to Business School of AI and find the course for Career Pivot to AI Ethics. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. I'm glad you found this useful. So if you find, just go there. I'll make sure that I will add the link for you to download the Emotions AI also. So if you just go to businessschoolofai.com, we did that once. I'm going to show that because somebody's asking about it. And then somebody's asking how to join Weekly Wednesday. So you can just click on Weekly Wednesday at the top of Business School of AI. That should take you there. Yeah. So let me show that. And then with that, I'm going to wrap up, guys. businessschoolofai.com. And you can actually go here at the top and say Weekly Wednesday, and it'll take you to Weekly Wednesday where you can sign up and join our Weekly Wednesdays. And you go down, further down, you can see your courses. You click on this, on AI ethics, responsible AI, and inclusive AI. This is what is going to lead you to Susanna's class. And in here, I'm going to add the link for you to get the Emotions AI. It's there under Business School of AI. I'm just going to make it easy for you to get the Emotions AI webinar right here. When you click on this link, you're going to find link to the Emotions AI and also about Susanna's class and the pre-class. So hopefully I'll see you on Monday at the pre-class for Inclusive AI with Susanna Raj, or I'll see you next on Tuesday, or I'll see you at Weekly Wednesday, or back here on Friday, back for live lab. Oh my God, we are seeing each other for so many times in a week. So hope the week is an exciting one and you get some good rest and stay safe. Have a wonderful weekend, all of you. And I will see you all sometime next week, somewhere online. Thank you and bye. So with that, let me stop this recording first. And you can always follow up with me. I'm open on all the channels you're seeing me on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. You can find me in any of these places, or you can find me, email me, or message me on LinkedIn, sujante@businessschoolofai.com. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Bye now. I'm going to stop the stream.